All right. Welcome back to the Board Drill Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. With me is my co-host, Matt. And tonight, our special guest is Coach Ian Tatum, who's the assistant head coach, OC, O-line coach at Walkertown High School, North Carolina. Coach Tatum, welcome to the Board Drill.
Awesome. Hey, man, I love the clapping. I was looking forward to it, man. Every time. It's awesome. I love it. It's a good little wrinkle not a lot of people do, so I appreciate that.
You know, and right as every time as I'm introducing people, I forget I have to like click it on real quick and go to the soundboard and click live.
Yeah.
So I was desperately doing that while I was introducing Matt. So if you're listening and you ever hear me slow way down during intros, it's because I forgot to turn on the soundboard. So anyways, Coach, tonight we're going to talk about power. We're excited. Matt loves power. I'm pretty sure I watched Matt call power 52 times in a game before. I love power when it's on my side. I hate it when people are running down my throat. So this should be a fun one. If you're listening, go ahead, hit subscribe. Can't even say the word. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, all of our socials, and definitely subscribe to our website. It's boarddrill.com. We do weekly articles along with all of our podcasts that go up. It's really nice because it emails everything right to you. So if you're someone that just wants to get all of our content to your email inbox, subscribe at boarddrill.com. Be fantastic. All right, that's the quick intro. I always talk about how I hate long intros. So, Coach Tatum, let's start talking about some power. I'm going to let you kick it off, and then me and Matt are going to do our typical idiots in the audience asking questions thing.
Yeah, man. So, again, appreciate y'all having me on. But, power, man, it's God's play, right? It's an attitude play, man. It's a day one install for us, right? We'll install duo and power at the same time. Some guys get into it, duos, power without a puller, cool. We treat it like that with certain calls we can get into. But yeah, this year we were just straight base power, 20 personnel, with a sniffer guy. I call it 20 because he's a fullback guy. If you want to call it 11, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the sniffer, you go twins, you can 3x1, 2x2, and I'll have film on this. But just base power, just dive it, right? We ran that a good amount this year. And then in years past, because I did want to talk about some power series that we'll get into, quarterback power, power read, and then the toss read off of power as well. So, yeah, that's kind of what we hang our hat, day one install for power. And I can share, if we want to hop straight into film, that's cool.
So, Coach, my big first question is always back placement, right? Do you guys always cross mesh them? Do you like to go same side power? Do you want to mix it up depending on the RPO? What do you do as far as that?
Yes, we'll mix it up. But for base install, we'll be same side power. Big same side team. It marries right with our duo. It marries with GT counter, GH counter. We have real easy way to just flip a guy and go pistol as well. So can you see that on huddle right here?
Yep. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let me pull up all my power clips. When I was at North Carolina, which is for the people that know North Carolina geography, north of Charlotte, right outside of Salisbury, we were really good at running gap scheme. That's what we did, right? We still run gap scheme to this day at Walkertown. And so I'm not going to insult anybody's intelligence. Everybody, we know how to run power, right? It's gap down backer. But it's not traditional gap down backer in the thought process of, not double teaming, right? Gap down backer to me is, hey, check your backside gap. There's someone there blocking. If not, you're climbing, right? So we will actually check backside. If there's no one there, we'll check front side, call for a double team. So we'll get we'll double a 3 or a 1 on the play side. So we're gonna go power to the left right here. And so, we're going down to the backside guy. We're going to skip for him. And we're going to kick this dude. Full transparency. He's a dude, and he's a dude. So I'll put that out there. But the offensive line is, was okay. They were good. And this guy he's a backup. So it kind of balances out. But this defense is not all that great. And I'll make sure we can. Well, choking on the main stage right here. Golly, it's not one to load. All right, well, let's go to the next clip. If it'll go. Let's see. Not sure why it's not.
That's the way huddle works when it counts.
Man,
right? You just got to let it load up for a second.
tell me. Like, but yeah. Yeah.
While it's loading, Coach, I got a question for you already.
What's up?
You said talked about double teaming the one technique play side.
Yeah.
Are you using your center in that, or do you exclusively keep your tackle guard double teaming?
So it depends on what we have at center. We do have a call where we can pull that guy. We'll just make a simple call, and then we know that the center and the guard are exchanging responsibilities. So to kind of talk about that. So if we're going to be running power to the left, we have a 3 on the backside. The guard will stay, and the center he'll just skip pull after he snaps. If we don't have a guy, I work my butt off to make sure that he can step flat and get to a 3 technique. It kind of is the thought process of which one's easier, teaching the center to snap and pull or snap and step flat. So it depends on the guy you got. I don't know why it's not working, but so we'll do that. But I like running power to a 1 technique, and the reason is because we want to put that guy in the A gap, right? If it's a 3 technique on the play side, we want to put that guy in the A gap right now. Well, now he's already there, right? So the guard can just step down and I saw blocking thick, step down, right, and keep him in that gap, and the tackle can check his hip. Once he checks his hip, he can climb if he doesn't try to cross over his face and fight over top. So right here, got power right here. Skip pulling. I teach the guards to get a lot of depth, almost like it's running buck sweep, because a lot of times what I tell them and what happens on this play, actually, if we don't get a great kick out on the front side or that DN try to cross the H's face, we can get in there. We can punch a hole in that thing, or we can go outside if we have to. So running back, you follow guard, man. If he sticks his nose in there and tries to make the hole, cool. If not, then we're following him to green grass.
Looks like a great job by the right tackle here, Coach. I mean, just great in movement. You see that movement there. Yeah.
And something I picked up from Coach Chip Siegel. Love Coach Chip down in Alabama. Calls it the rump line. Basically, everybody's butt should be creating a wall right here. So we're all down. We're creating this wall, and then the guard that somebody gives the guard to scrape paint, follow through, and get up top. Let's see.
And to me, that's the biggest thing for power encounters, creating that wall, and that creates a clean alley there for your guard and your running back. That's the key for that play. Power counter, you run any of that, you've got to create that wall.
Yeah, you do. And then it just makes it clear for everybody in the backfield, especially when you get spill teams. And I had to have film of spill teams where we have to actually I do a drill, especially it's a 2-pull chase drill. We run a lot of counter. If the DN's going to spill inside, the second puller is reading, obviously the block of the first puller. If he sees his back, it means we're getting a good kick out. He's cutting up inside off the tackles, down block. If he sees his headgear, it means he's having to log that thing, then he knows he's going to go a gap outside, and now we're all just running that train track around the outside edge. But
Coach, let's try this. All right, we're back. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, but Coach Tatum just exchanged it over to us. So I'm going to run the film here while he talks. So Coach, just kind of talk me through running the film here, and I'll do my best to not screw it up.
Yeah, you good. So we're just running, we're trying to double team this 3 technique to a backside linebacker right here. If you want to, just loop it. So we're trying to build this wall on the play side, right? Guard skip pulling. I teach skip pull. A lot of people, they teach, an open skip or a shuffle. I try to do all 3 as well, and then give those guys, tools to go. Skip. If you have guys that are good at skipping, right, it gives them that depth to get around if there's any penetration or anything crazy happening. And I said it before, the guy might have gotten cut out because of editing, but this H-back was a backup kid, and he was just a guy we had to get in there, right? So it's not a great kick-out block. One of the hardest blocks in football is that J block right there. But as you can see, their linebackers are backing up, not feeling. So you skip pull around, get vertical. And when I tell them guys, when you get around that double team, first wrong color jersey, right? Don't try to predetermine. If I was looking at this guy right here, I'm not looking at, hey, where's old white sleeves at? Like, no, I'm getting around. First wrong color jersey, going out there, hit that dude. Let's get some yards. All right, you can go next clip, coach. All right, it's just power again. Then we're going to the right. And we talked about we're a big same side team, so we're a little jet motion, a little eye candy. Guard getting depth. All right, running back bounces it. One of the cardinal sins of running anything, any inside run, right? Not sure why he wanted to bounce it outside. Get in there, find number 72, big old boy, right? He gets a little confused. He sees that DN. Like, no, you tied off the tackle. Should have went in vertical now. Gets on his guy, but then the running back bounces it, and now we're having a chase guys. All right, there we go. So this is the first round playoff game. Obviously, you see the grass is all dead. So check with me, see if we like it, because I guarantee we had an RPO on the outside. No, we didn't. All right, so right here, so DN goes inside. So we're talking about depth on the pool, right? I tell, hey, guard, go in there, make a dent, right? So he didn't touch the dude, but on this one, if I was coaching him up on the sideline, like, hey, he goes and DN peeks inside, and your linebacker is not moved. That kid has not moved off the 45-yard line. So he has not moved. Go in there and hit that DN, and let's dent this thing. Let's make sure we get yards.
Okay? Coach, that is great awareness by the right tackle here, coming down, getting the double team, and then seeing that linebacker slip underneath.
Yeah.
Right here, boom, coming off on it. Beautiful job.
Yeah, because the guard's locked up, right? And that's not, I'm not teaching that. So that was just kids being kids and actually reacting. But yeah, it's great, just awareness to get out there. Let's make sure we hit somebody's wrong color jersey, man.
Coach, talk real quick when you said you wanted to dent them and do that. Like, what specifically does that mean when you say that?
Yeah, so you pause it right here. So this tackle this guard right here is pulling around. Okay, the guy that's going to be the linebacker, okay, he has not moved, right? He's 5 yards down the field, but he sees color right there in his face.
Yeah.
Okay, don't pass one to get to one, right? So if he's giving up any type of penetration, hey, give that H a chip, right, on the inside.
Gotcha.
And now we can go. Maybe that H can reestablish. And maybe some type of position, maybe he doesn't, but it is what it is. We can make sure we actually get some yards instead of having to bounce this thing, and then the H might get a hold because now we're out of position.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. I was going to literally say, is it like a chip block, and protection or something like that?
Man.
Okay.
Yeah, and even if we say we got a stalemate, you go back to like right when the right tackle goes down, back up a little bit. So say right here, say he doesn't get any movement, right, and there's it's very cloudy. Right.
Yeah.
Well, get in there and get right off the guy's hip, and let's make steamroll this thing and make a hole. Right.
Yeah.
And it just builds in like a mentality of playing hard and going, dominating, the line of scrimmage. So we'll teach that. Okay. All right. Again, same side power. And right here, this right here is a spill team. Okay. So the DN, he goes inside. So this is a good clip of it. Right. Guard, go. Okay, hey, it's muddy. All right, well, hey, getting at the guy's back, he knocks our own guy down. Good things happen, right? When you're making the hole, right? Good things happen. Running back stays tight, stays on his feet. Boom, there's grass. Make a play, right? So that's what we make sure, because we don't ever want to bounce power, because the reason is because we have ways to bounce power, right? And we'll get to it in a minute when we talk about power read. All right, and this is going to be the same thing. Okay, we just throw RPO out there, trying to be cool. All right. You want to skip, coach? It should be a tad. There we go.
So you're so mad they threw the RPO there. I love it.
No,
That's
hey,
that's
man.
a no line.
We're running power, and damn it, man.
All right, through the bubble. All right. So if you want to go, I think right now, this is 10 personnel, so this is going to be either quarterback power or one of our read plays. And this team, obviously, yeah. So honestly, this right here turns in looking almost like draw. We put this in. We were running a lot of power reads. We're like, hey, why don't we just go straight quarterback run? And then our running back was pretty good blocker. He would get in there and stick his nose in there. So honestly, this was just a delay because it was our first week running it. He should have followed the puller and went downhill, because we got movement because we got one linebacker in the box, right? So we got movement on that front side.
You're there.
Yeah. So
you're there.
All your guy. I mean, this kid's an athlete, right? He sees best backside gap, no one's there, so he takes off running.
Yeah. It's all open grass, and he took it.
Oh, yeah. Can't hate him on that. All right. You can go to the next one. All right. So it's right here. I'm pretty sure that the DN flies upfield on this one. So, honestly, and I have people that are like, you let your running back kick DNs. Well, when you have DNs that fly upfield like that, it doesn't matter, right? So on this one, so this right here, tackle does blocks absolutely nobody. But this is what we're talking about. We talk about checking the hip a lot. So if he's in a one technique, check the guy's hip, stay low, keep leverage, stay low. You should be climbing vertical for that guy, and see you just running straight to him. He olays you and runs around. So guards should be pulling around. This is a 3 linebacker team in the box. So the puller should be going to the far guy that's on the 40, right there. Cool, keep it vertical. And then the guard doesn't keep the D lineman in the gap, makes him bounce a little bit. But
now, Coach, this is something that when I first started coaching power and stuff, I'd tell that tackle, hey, we're gonna punch the hip and sprint the linebacker. I know you're probably not telling them that, but I got to where I was like, hey, we're going to work that hip, and then we'll duck walk to him. We're slow to him. Let him come to you, because he's got to get through you to get to that play.
Yeah, and what I've gone to now is a shuffle, right? You knock that hip down. Now I'm shuffling, right? Almost like I'm playing basketball. I'm shuffling that guy. He's going to come to me. I'm not chasing him at all, right?
Absolutely.
Now on film, did the running back get nice props here? Because this guy kind of flies up the field so far, and he says, "Screw it, I'm going downfield and taking someone else."
Probably does. Yeah, that kid was a hustler, man.
That's great effort.
And he didn't mind blocking because he knew he was gonna get his, right. So he had no problems blocking for the quarterback at all. Yeah, man, I can't teach that. All right, you want to skip through these, Coach? You want to skip, and then let's see what this one is right here, because I didn't send you the tags on them. All right, yeah, go to the next one.
Yep.
All right, and next one. And next one. All right, this right here should be. It might be quarterback power again, but we'll see. All right, guys. So it's just more traditional power. You want to wind it back. Okay, so now they got a safety coming down in the box. Okay, guard gets super wide, and one thing I try to do, and we can talk about a little bit of drill work real quick. So one thing I do is when I work half line, and I'll just go backside guard, center guard, tackle, and I just don't have my backside tackle in there because he's seal hinging. And I'll put a bag where the guard cannot go outside, just to teach, staying tight, right? I'll even do it next to our sled, so if you go wide, you're going to hit a piece of metal. And so you're having to pull tight off the double team, having to slap that tackle's butt as you go by to make sure you stay tight, because those guys, when they pull around, it's super wide. No, stay tight, get all right there, and you running back's not having to juke anybody.
Yeah, it's a really nice cut though.
Yeah.
Run that,
cuts it back across the grain, and the backside linebacker, even though does a great job of taking the window underneath, which is the dream, right? You got the window underneath,
and
it just whiffs.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's good to have good players, man. That's why I want to send a caveat like, hey, that running back was the dude. So, but hey, trying to make sure that even though we got guys that can make people miss, like let's make sure that we get them to the second level so they can do that untouched.
And I love the tempo he takes through the handoff. If you watch here, he's not trying to sprint forward right at the snap. He's tempoing it and letting the guard get in place before he explodes through the hole. And you see that acceleration. That's wonderful.
Yeah, man. So that patience right there. And we didn't run much duo. We ran inside zone when I was with this team. But that slide and dive, like he's almost taking a step almost back. And we did a lot of things off of what Ferris State does, on how they teach things. So he's stepping back to get back in that downhill slide, and now he's going downhill. So it makes things time up a little better. Because one big thing about same side run is the running backs getting to the hole before the puller gets there. So that could be a big issue. When we run counter, we'll jab away on GH. And we'll go the 3 steps and then come back on GT. So that's how we get the timing down on that.
Yeah, that was going to be my big thing on same side run plays. That footwork is so important by the running back because, like you said, if he's beating people to the gap, then it's no good.
Yeah, especially when you have a speed guy like that. All right, here we go. This one's toss. Nope, this is all right. Skip through some of these, Coach. It's gonna be the 10 personnel stuff. All right, skip through that.
Thought I had glaucoma on that one.
I know, right? Let's see. Here we go, power. So guard, this guard right here, love him to pieces. He was full on, man. He was 100% going to go through, like misses the kid, right? So hey man, slow down, right? Come off the double team, hit the dude right in front of you, right? He's on the outside, hit him with your pull right, hit right. So that's what we teach him right there. And I guarantee you, I was somewhere on the sideline, like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Once again, I know I'm stuck on these tackles, but that was another great job by the tackle here.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's what makes that double team makes the play, and great job by the tackle getting up, patient, lets the linebacker come to him, seals the play off.
Got to. Here we go. Here's a little toss. All right, cool. So now we're going to do a variation. So we're going to do. This is a great 10 personnel run. If you are that type of a team, if you put an H in, we'll just arc him to the alley. He'll be alley backer safety, ABS. So he's going to arc wide, alley. No one's there immediately. He's going to look back into the box for a backer. And then ultimately, if just no one's there, he's going to climb to a safety. Very rarely you get to the safety. You're reading this DN. So usually we'll shuffle that thing, and he'll actually like early on. They don't look like they're really reading it. He's reading it because he does want to run. But he really tossed it out to the fast guy. But usually we'll get a shuffle, and then toss it. And there's a little end zone for you. But this one right here, he just tossed it straight out there, almost like we're just running rocket toss. So there's another clip where you really do see him get that shuffle. He sticks his foot in the ground and then gets north. Right here, right? So quarterback, his footwork, shuffle, boom, fake it. Now he's taking off upfield. Yeah.
Love it, Coach.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is the equivalent. I mean, for your guys, I know it's slightly different, but this is just power read. Instead of some people do it with like a jet guy or anything else, right? You're just doing it with toss action.
Yeah. So we ran power four ways. We ran base, and in either way, same side crossing, whatever. We did the cross power read, which there's some clips on here. Then we did the toss right here, and then we did just straight up quarterback run it. So. We did all of those, all of the above in this game. So it was really just playing games with this DN. He's got running back to him. He might feather it, try to stay outside. If he's getting across, he might feel like he can play both. So get the running back out now, right? Threaten the outside perimeter right now, and that's why kind of the philosophy on that. And then you have a quarterback that can boom, put your foot in the ground and go. It works. Plus the guard right here, when he pulls around, I tell him, you see that guy try to cross over, right? You just get a piece of him, right? Because we're blocking for the quarterback. And we try to tell him, when we run these read plays, you're gonna have linebackers scraping, right? So you got the first wrong color jersey, right? And we go, and then the double team has the second wrong color jersey, and then the linebacker went underneath. So.
And Kyle, you said something about this being similar to the power read. What I like about the difference here is power read still has that part where the defense, if that guy flies off the edge, he can get to that mesh point. Mm-hmm. You can't really, unless you're really, if you're flying upfield towards a mesh point here to where the ball's going to be, you're lost, right?
Yeah.
So I like there's not that,
by the way.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, same thing. But like whatever. Like there's that mesh point's gone here, so that it eliminates that potential for the defense to fly through and make a play.
Yeah. You want to go to the next one? All right. So let's see. All right. So the toss, get it out there. DN. At the end of the day, unless we told him unless the DN can knock it down, which really they're not going to get that far upfield to do that. You're not going to be wrong to toss it out there. Give the live, as they say, right? Because protect the franchise with the quarterback. There you go. And then the guard, I don't know. I don't know why guards, they look at those DNs, and that's something you got to train. Like, and when I do it in drill work or inside, or I walk through a ton, right? I call it, answers to the test, right? We go through the script. It's usually like the last 2 minutes of my indie time before we go to inside our team, and I'm trying to tell the guys, hey, what are we doing? You're running power, right? What is your rules on power? When you're the backside guard, you skip, pull around the double team for the first run color jersey. There might be a D in there, there might not. So they know, when we talked about skipping for depth and getting downhill, if there's an H blocking the DN and he's in your way, make the hole. If you come around and there's nobody there, right, you're tied for double team. And I teach my guys what the plays names are, and I tell them same as as the other ones. So my guys aren't just lost when we do that. All right, here we go. I think it's this one right here. Now we're going. What I call protecting it. So with the H arcing, you can protect it. You cannot protect it. It depends on how the defense is going to play with that alley. Is it an open alley? You don't need a guy, right? If they're going to have a guy in the alley, it's probably a good idea to have an H out there to kind of protect your dude, so he's not just running into a guy to take his head off. So that's how we kind of scheme it up with the formation wise.
Now, do you guys throw play action off this, or kind of like the RPO style balls off this with the H going vertical?
Yeah, so we didn't, because we didn't have an H that was a vertical guy. Our first year we did, and we did a lot of tight end on the ball, send him down, power counter stuff, quarterback counter stuff, and then we would slip him and run a little wide cross stuff, play action. We still pull guys, but for this year, that kid right there, he would have been playing the 6-man offensive line for me.
Yeah.
So he wasn't running vertical, but we have running a little pop off of reading the inside backer, replacing the dude, stuff like that. But we just didn't get into it. All right, let's see. All right, this should be still toss. So again, play with the DNs. If you want to skip a couple, coach, we get to the read stuff.
Hold on, I gotta analyze the defense.
You're good.
I gotta get pissed for a second.
You're good.
All right, I'm sufficiently pissed.
Yeah. What I will say is that game, I'm still stick to my stump. We lost that game 47-50, and it was the third round of the playoffs. It was a cold night. Cold night. All right. Next one. Just want to make sure we get to all of them. Here we go. So it's still gonna be toss. We like running it to the trips as well, because you get 3 guys out there. Depending on how they're going to play it, especially when you have a 4-4 cover 3 team like that, you're going to get a safety in the sky, and you have 2 over 3, and we're going to make sure that we got numbers out here. You should have bounced it. That's one time you can bounce it. Hash number sideline, right? We got leverage on this guy right there. Run to the hash, we get up to the numbers.
Matt, I think you know how much it just hurt my heart to hear a 4-4 cover 3.
Bad memories?
No, just don't run it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll say it out there to DCs. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. But the game's too complex to run 4-4 cover 3 anymore.
Yeah. And this is Thomasville High School. They're known for that. That's what they run on defense.
No, I mean, and look, Thomasville is probably better than any team I've ever coached. So I'm saying that, and they're probably gonna be like, "That's great, buddy, win." But stop it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, so this is going to be our cross stuff. So this was, and I didn't. This is old film, obviously, and I don't have all of this, but we ran this till the cows came home. It was really good for us. So here we go. Boom. Hey, so and we out leveraged this team on the edge, so he could have gave it or pulled it. It didn't really matter. So when we get to a point like this, especially when we play odd teams or teams that give us, a B and C gap, we'll tell them read the gap, right? And at that point, you can do what you want to do. I'll let the quarterback be the decision maker here. But yeah, he could have pulled it or gave it. They were just all down inside, almost like they went all the D line went one way and all the linebackers went the other way. So yeah. Or then he just reads back. He just cuts across the field, and he's beating a dude.
Yeah, I mean, this is the stuff. You have an athletic quarterback that just It's tough to defend. I mean, we've gone through it, and right, you go through and all right, you've got this and you've got that, and let's react. And then, but it's like anything on defense. Once you get Q run involved, if one guy misses, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
When it's a regular running play, if one guy misses, you can usually make up for it. But once you guys go +1 in the run game, it's a different end. Like you can't miss on the first guy, or it turns into this, right?
Yeah.
It may not be a touchdown, but it's going to be a 20, 40-yard gain. So
yeah,
you just have to be, when people can Q run, you have to be so good and so disciplined. It's back to the triple option stuff.
It is, and you're truly playing 11-man football, right? 11 on 11. And not as many. I mean, obviously people do it, but not as many people are seeing. That quarterback. Hey, he's actually a threat. Now he's not a get 2-yard guy. Now he can go score. So that's pretty big.
Yeah, it sucks when there's a guy like that. I'm be honest. I'd much rather a guy sit back there that can just chuck it all over the field, because at least we can try to dial up answers for that.
Yeah.
Once you go +1 in the Q run game, there's a handful of answers, but there's not a bunch.
No doubt. And then this one here is another one. And then we actually do hand it on the outside. But he cuts it all the way back. But so you're reading this DN, and he's charging the mesh. The quarterback could have pulled it, but he ended up giving it to the dude. Hey, give it the live at the end of the day.
Is that your? Yeah. I mean, you said a couple points, but same as I grew up around the triple. It was kind of the same thing. Like when in doubt, give it. Is that kind of really?
Yeah, give it, because really have that guy having to run it at the end of the day. And then the next clips, coach, should be skip. Go to the next. We should be getting into more modern stuff. That's more LA. There you go. That's more cross. Go ahead, go next. And next. Until you see, there we go. So this is listier. Here we go. So we run a little more power here. So we didn't read any of this stuff because our quarterback couldn't beat my grandma on a race. So yeah, this is straight handoff stuff. This again, because that team that's a big spill team. And we're telling my guard right here, hey, he's going down, you go around, right? So in this one, instead of making that dent, this is the coaching point on this. Hey, a DN's going to cross the face of the H. Now you're skipping all the way around, because where they're going to bring a guy off the edge because he's trying to spill it outside, right? So we're just going to hit the next wrong color jersey. None of the coaching points change. Now we're just trying to go another gap around, right? And so then the running back, obviously he cuts it back. So here we go. Same team. So he's gonna go inside. Yep, go inside. Go around to the out. Guards little out in no man's land. God bless him. So here we go. This being patient. So I'll give the kid credit. Let's say that hey, he peeked inside. Boom, no one's there. Okay, now the next guy outside. Cool. And we'll do that, and we're getting vertical now, right?
Yeah, Matt, this goes back to, we've had this conversation many times. When you're spilling, it doesn't do a very good job if you're not able to get vertical afterwards. And right, if you just do this, and that's a kind of a defensive teaching point as my little thing here. If you teach your guy to spill, he's immediately got to rip and try to get vertical, because right here, all he does is he gets pinned. Like you said, coaches on offense are too good not to teach him how to log and run around a log. And there's a great example there. So you can't spill with no purpose, right?
Yeah.
You have that purpose of I'm still trying to make a play, not sacrificing a guy.
Yeah. And on this one, my right tackle, this is just effort and not just he delivers the defensive tackle to the guard, and now he's looking for work. Because I try to dictate double teams, and it drives some people crazy, but that's how my philosophy. I want to dictate who comes off, right? So if I can deliver that 3 technique to the A gap, my guard comes off. Now I'm climbing. That's just it's worked for us. Deliver him. Now I'm coming off and getting vertical. There's nothing wrong with, and then we're back at the top. So there's nothing wrong with going hip to hip or going gallop and knocking him down and all that stuff and going. I believe in if he's in a 3 technique, let's try to get him to the A. If he's in the A, let's keep him there, right? And that's kind of how we can do that. And one thing I want to talk about real quick is with our duo, something that we do that's pretty good, and we'll check to duo out of power. So for us, they know, hey, we're gonna call Pittsburgh is what we call power. So we're gonna call that, if we come up and the backside guard has any pressure in his backside gap, he'll make a solid call. Right. So what solid means is now we're checking the duo. So now everybody has their backside gap. Right. So now that backside double team between the guard and the center will be working to the backside linebacker vertical. Well, he's down in my face. I got him. Now the play side knows, hey, now we're working vertical for the play side double team. The H in the running back, nobody changes. Right. They could not even know that we made a solid call because the H is still going to kick on the front side. And then that running back, and now he's sliding. Now he's just finding, that A gap, look. He doesn't have a puller. He knows he's just getting vertical.
Hits like veer now, Coach.
Hey, that's it, man.
It does. That is.
It does.
I'm telling you, I'm one of those guys. I've struggled a long time to figure out the difference between inside zone and duo, and I started realizing out of 20 personnel, it hits like veer. And I was like, there's the key for me. I know it doesn't do it out of 11 personnel, but out of 20, it hits like veer.
It really does. And what I try to tell guys, like, and there's the debates or whatever, don't care. But it's backwards inside zone, right? So if all my guys are stepping to the left, right, and we all have our play side gap, well, on duo, we all have our backside gap at the end of the day, right? The worst case scenario, I'm sitting here and all my guys have guys in their backside gaps. Well, then we're all going down, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's just, so it would be the opposite inside zone. If we're calling zone, we're just full zoning it. We're all stepping play side. So that's kind of how we kind of, distinguish it. Cause we do have zone. If we want to read the backside, DN or some read stuff, we'll carry zone. But yeah, it has hit like veer, and you start getting that triple stuff, man, that's tough.
Yeah, it's fun. Was it, Coach? Was it your social media the other day that the guy was ripping inside zone?
Probably.
I think it was like your TikTok or something. I don't know. I went on it.
Oh yeah.
Guys, like worst play in football. I was like, that's for a lot of people run it for it to be such a bad play.
I know. But I've heard that it's becoming more of a trend, being like, inside zone is lazy. It's just everybody stepping play side. I'm like, well, at the end of the day, when you have defense, especially that defense that twist or stunt or bring pressure, you need something that, hey, I'm gonna be solid in my gaps.
Yeah.
If it's lazy, I don't care. Like, as long as we can run, it is what it is.
Correct.
Simplicity beats complexity.
That's it. Especially you get these odd stack teams, man, and they're going they can go either way, right? And you need something that's good against either gap, So yeah, man. So run power, run the ball. We love it. It was our, like I said, it's a day one install. We marry it just with counter and duo. We're better at counter. But I wanted to make sure that we talked about something you didn't have somebody talking about. So, love power, man.
It's about time we talked about power. Matt needed his fix, right?
I needed
Matt,
it.
what did we call power, right? For you, it was
Texas and Longhorn. Texas to the left, Longhorn to the right, and it was just
boom,
let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, so we're cities. So, but we go even and odd instead of having two calls. I did a post and talking about how people call things, and people do numbers, even and odd numbers, whichever way, and then people do city and state, or they do college team mascot. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I love it. I
liked the way Matt taught it. And Matt, I'm going to brag on you here. Listen, we had some kids in Florida who, look, if you played for us, I love you, but we're not always the smartest kids in the world. And he's like, look, it's just like you read it. Texas Longhorn. It's left, then right. And it's that simple. And I was like, I really like that for our kids because, look, if they can't write out Texas Longhorn and read it, we got a bigger problem. But we think that they can at least do that. So
and we'd also put the logo and like picture with it. So I was big on putting pictures with plays so that they saw it, like not in the game, but just so they have that visualization of the play and what that represents. But to me, the way you read it made sense. Miss Rebel, Florida Gator, Texas Longhorn.
And then didn't you have like your play action was like Bevo? It was like the shot off that or something like that?
Yeah, it was Bevo. Yeah.
I like that.
Or hook them.
Yeah. I know some people, they'll do city and state. And I'm like, man, these kids don't know what states and things are in.
Oh, no.
They don't know that.
But sometimes they don't know college football mascots, and it's really sad. Really sad.
It is, man. I've been in places we did all our runs for baseball teams, and I had kids that didn't even know baseball. Like, they don't know MLB. They don't know MLB. Right now, they go to the NBA. They all play 2K, so they were good with that. And that was some pass pro stuff we did. But yeah, that was a learning curve for them for sure.
I love it.
It always helps when you can group plays like that, group play names, and make sure it's something that makes sense to the kids. Like you had Pittsburgh. I've seen teams go like Pittsburgh and then hot and cold or up and down.
Yeah.
And just have a strength designated right, left. Coach, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Something we didn't really touch much into the odd fronts. Do you see any 4 eyes, and what would you do, to a team that showed you a 4 eye to the strength?
So it's 2
probably
things.
Head up nose.
Yeah, so there's 2 things. We kind of decide, can our tackle down block solo, right? Is he good at that? Yes. All right, let him down block, right? Let him do what he's good at. If not, what we'll do is either put tight end on the line, because I'm a big tight end on the line guy against odd, and let him work a double team. He's already 4 eyes. Basically, he's a B gap player, right? So let the guy, let him down block, let the tight end check, make sure he doesn't play over top. And then if guys are giving you trouble on the backside, you have the dart game, right? Pulling your tackle. And some people are like, well, I don't like pulling my tackle. Well, if you're asking me, we run GT, so my tackle does that already. So there's no extra teaching. We just lock the guard up, right? And he's used to that because we have our center guard exchange call on pulls. So everything overlaps, right? So and that's how you get the same as teaching. You can get more, variation. So we'll run dart. Again, we'll have the tackle still go down, right? I know dart for a lot of people. The tackle stay. He bases outside. No, have him go down. If you have a guy coming off the edge, that's where you have your tight end stuff. Tight end will go out. So like that. So yeah, dart on the backside, or if you have a front side, put a tight end, or just trust your tackle to down block solo. So that's how we'll handle power when it comes to tight front stuff. But power's not great. Odd front. I say was made to try and stop power, right? Because the angles aren't great. And all I see, having to double the nose instead of double on the front side technique and stuff like that. But that's more 4-0-4 stuff, which is a whole nother issue.
Oh, I mean, even front stops power just fine, Coach. What are you talking about?
Hey, anything stops anything if you got the dudes.
No, we the one time we did some odd principle stuff to mess with it. We went down to like you said, a head up 4 with the D end. And played a 3 and a 4 to mess with them. Or no, sorry, we played the under.
No, we went. So we went under.
We went a nose and a 4, and on the backside we had a 3 and a 5. To the H, and we were like, all right, run power.
Yeah.
That was our way to mess with people. But
yeah,
we did different things, and then there's some years that we were a really good spill team, so we didn't care. We dented the guy really well, and we're like, try to kick him out, I dare you, and just see what happens.
Yeah.
But I don't have 4-star DNs every year. I have them every once in a while, but
no doubt. It's when we're in practice, I do a lot of half line because I'm not at a big school, right? I'm at a 2A North Carolina. We got about 750 kids in the school. So in my position, I might have 8 or 9 offensive linemen, but they're also playing D line as well sometimes. So we'll do a lot of half line and really work those front side double teams. Against different stunts that we may see in film that we scouted against different techniques. Not a lot of people are playing 2s, but we saw a couple of teams that played 2s, and it's just a different look. Having that guard being covered, it's just different. So we'll show them that, and I'm really big, especially when you're drilling stuff, is give them the oh crap scenarios. The worst case, put them in bad looks. Or bad, I start them off in a bad block and haven't shown them how to fight and recapture and work your hands and all that stuff to win a block. So big on doing that stuff. And then working our pull drills, like some of that chase drill. Because like I said, we're a big counter team, so we'll do that chase drill, but we'll also do it with power. He's having to read that H blocks kick out. So those things are like non-negotiable. We got to do. And then working those guys, linebackers blitzing, coming off on double teams faster than expected. and still having to get a pull off and making a solid call. So all those things go into our drills. One thing I think is very underrated is doing like what I call it the answer to the test. They walk through some stuff, and it's not really a walkthrough like everybody's walking through. You think of like a college walkthrough. It's fast paced. We're going fast. I'm just throwing stuff at them. They're having to talk and communicate and figure things out. And that's been one of the biggest things that has been huge for us with success. They're expecting. I'm not giving them what I'm not. Let me take it back. I'm not giving them what's coming, but they got to figure it out. So, but when they get to inside the team, they can figure it out a little bit easier. So, I think that's been really, really big for us as well.
Yeah, we did something similar defensively. We just called it our recognition drill, like you said. And it's for us, it was like a lot of form and motion pre-snap and, hey, how do you check coverage and do all that? But I like that. Talk about real quick. So you have a team, when I think of just ways to attack power force, struggling with it, bringing the will through the backside, be not showing it, but bringing his ass hard through there. What do? You talked about if you identify it pre-snap, right? You just check the solid, you do that.
Yeah.
If you find that a team is very good about that, right? Hey, they're good at waiting until the last second coming through. Do you make some adjustments with power there? Do you just go to something else and you just call duo from when you feel like it's happening? Like, what's the teaching point there?
Yeah. So, if he's blitzing through, he's getting there, he's getting home, and it's really disrupting. Yeah, a couple of things. We have a one back ISO RPO. We'll RPO that backside, linebacker. That was one of our best plays last year per yard. And then, running duo, making sure we're solid or across or zone. If they're triggering off of a pull, that's where we go, like I said, like that one back RPO, because we will fan the front side and we'll pull that backside guard. And if he's getting nosy and flying down, we'll throw one up behind his ear. And he usually will either get chewed out or he'll stay put. So, when it comes to power, not necessarily an adjustment. We have what we have done, and I don't have any film of this, which I did, is we'll sift the backside tackle and we'll read the backside DN. It's a backside power read. We played around with a couple of weeks, but it didn't. Unless that guy's coming down, we'll just read. We'll just either run bash or we'll run normal power read. But we'll almost like at the backside of inside zone, tackle steps down like you would on the hinge block. Now he's sifting, he's climbing to the linebacker, and we're just reading the backside in. So that's
a good answer right there.
Yeah,
and I know not everybody has a quarterback of the caliber you guys have, but you game plan to who you are. So that's a great adjustment for you. It's like, okay, cool. We're just going to read to the end and you can just blitz, a backer right into a tackle all day, which is not a matchup that's super favorable most of the time. So,
So like I said, like this year, that wouldn't have worked for us because our quarterback would have maybe gotten back to the line of scrimmage. That RPO off the backside linebacker was the call.
Yeah, but it's like, right, just like you said, do what works for you. You talked about it. So if you're out there and you're looking for answers, right, he talked about one, if an athletic quarterback can run, one, if he's more of a thrower, like, hey, right, just throw the RPO off that guy. So I think that's the big thing is, right, coach, is talking about those built-in answers to things people do, because we just talked about the common things people do to power or spill, get in the four eyes, and then bring the backside will, through that B gap, right? That was my answer a lot was, all right, you're going to keep running power. We're going to do this a few times and hopefully get a tackle for loss and get you to think about running something else, right? Because we don't have to do it all the time, but if we do it a few times and frustrate you, some offensive guys will come off that play sheet. Not all of them. Matt would never come off it, but other guys would. So
one thing that does, and it's always a chess game, right? Is what did I do to take advantage of what you did? Now what are you gonna take away? One big thing we found is when we were RPOing that backside linebacker, they're just bringing that safety right down and replacing that guy.
Yep, so that's what we did. So.
Yeah, so now you can RPO that dude, but now that safety's coming down and knock that dude's head off. So then you got to have something else off of that. So that's the best thing about football, man. It's ultimate chess match, and who's got the pin last. But on the field with kids, that are high schoolers and make mistakes.
Yeah, and then then you talk about. I'll give you the answer. There is run a play action that looks like power and let that guy go slant and go one time and see how that works out for that.
Yeah.
And hope they're not rotating cover 3 on that one down. So
I know, right?
Because that's right. I was a quarters team, but we also ran a lot of weak rotation cover 3. which is very similar to quarters if you're skying that guy a lot like we do. So every once in a while, someone try to get us on that. We rotate the safety in the middle of the field, and the quarterback just has that oh shit moment. He's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and we ran buck sweep and run stick RPO as well. That's good stuff because
he's just getting mad excited.
Hey man, it's a different look. But yeah, I'm just talking ball now. But yeah, it's just a different look to the defense.
Yeah, it really is. Matt, I know you got quite. I mean, I just saw you furiously writing notes. So
no, I'm good, man. It's it powers a thing of beauty when it's run right, and obviously coach has got it down pat, and everybody has their little spins and little things. I love the toss off of it, the toss read. Man, just seeing that on film, I love that. Putting the defensive end in a bind. And
remember, we watched Georgia Tech run it this year, and we talked about it during a breakdown. And they ran it, I think, against Syracuse.
I haven't seen many high school teams run it though, so I liked seeing it. Something that I wish I could have gone back. We had in 2019 we had a really good running back, and I had a running quarterback, and we tried to do the power read stuff and coming across the body but. It just didn't work out the way I wanted to. And I think that toss would have been the way to go.
Couple of things on the toss. It's not good cold. That's what we had. On a call sheet. We literally had not good cold. What I mean is, it's not good as the first play of the game. That DN has not been. He's not been influenced. Right.
You got to train him.
He is crazy. He's coming off the edge. Like it's not good. Like so, if you're kicking. Or you're running counter, you're trapping him, or you're cross reading with read, getting him to widen out, right? Or D-line who's like widen out, it's good, because now the quarterback can run it. Once he starts getting quarterback running there, now the DN coach is like come inside, and now you can kind of mess with that kid. So yeah, definitely don't. It's not a first play of the game call. I don't think, in our opinion. But then our power read, something that really helped us out a lot and changed how we ran it. It was Ferris State, the running back, when he gets the ball, when he's doing that cross, he bubbles back a little bit, right? It's a little bit of a bend. It just separates him from the DN that may be there or anybody coming around to overlap, and he can get back to the edge. And that's the way they teach it, and that was huge for us. And all we did to drill it is, when you're doing your mesh periods, right? You had your quarterback, running back. You just had a cone, right? If you're on a line, have the cone maybe, half a yard, off the cone, and now he's having to go and he's having to bubble around it, and it just puts some space between him, and he gains leverage to now get outside. So that was a huge coaching point for us, because we got a lot of times the DNs would like tag off on us, and we're like, man, we barely just handed this thing off. So just bubble that thing just a little bit.
Well, Fair State's doing it. It's probably correct.
Yeah.
They're winning a lot.
Yeah, that's why we went to, because when it comes to QB run game or just read stuff, they were that's who you want to go to. Honestly,
you ever seen a D2 team get picked apart the way they did in the transfer portal? Holy crap!
It's crazy.
They lost everybody.
Yeah. But the thing
is, they lose like 4 linemen, their quarterback and their running back.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're gonna load back up. I mean, because I'm sure they'll just grab people from above them again. So
yeah, and people want to go there, they win, right? Yeah. Like it's good news about winning, right? Same thing, right? If South Dakota State lost their quarterback to Iowa, there'll be some kid next year there that can play.
Yeah,
it's the way it works. Those guys.
Yeah.
So.
Some kid was in waiting or a bounce back. So.
Yeah. All right, Coach. So at the end of every podcast, we ask every coach this. You coach high school football in North Carolina. We've had a few guys on, not a lot yet in that area, but what is the coolest or most unique thing that your program does that not a lot of other schools do out throughout the country?
Ooh. We want to make Walkertown, the best place to play football. And that's kind of cliche, like, we want to make it fun. Like, no, we coach our kids hard. We love them harder, man. We try to do right by our kids, and we do a lot of things for them. We, whether it be simple stuff like getting popsicles in the summertime, or breaking up the monotony of practice by letting them play pickup basketball, going up to the gym, or just something that makes them feel like they're important, and getting them stuff if your budget allows for it. Something that I do, right, and this is just me. It's not for everybody, and I have people that are like, man, you're crazy for doing this, which blows my mind to say that, but I have had people tell me that, but I take my stipend, right, and I put it back into my offensive line group, right, and I buy meals. I set goals, right, so I'm not trying to just throw my money, at them, but I set goals. Whether it be a pancake goal, whether it be a Russian goal, something of that nature. And then my wife and I, we buy them, food after the walkthrough on Thursday. My wife goes and picks it up, brings it to them, and they get, hey man, after that walkthrough's done, they get up that hill and they get all their stuff off and put it in the bin, and they're ready, sitting in the cafeteria. So we'll buy them Wingstop, we'll buy them pizza, whatever they want, right? If it fits, they hit a goal, we'll do that. So that's some things that we do personally in Walkertown, and we gotta love upon our guys, man, because if we don't, who is, right? So we take pride in that.
No, that's awesome, Coach. It's not cliche.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches are always like, well, I know this feels cliche. Like, look, if it's culture and it's you caring about kids, then you know what? If that's cliche, then good. Then cliche is awesome. All right. I wish more coaches would be cliche in this country then.
Yeah.
And I truly say that from a point of admiration because, I think high school football coaches are awesome. And, they do a lot for kids that people just don't realize.
Yeah.
Matt's been there. I've been making peanut butter jellies, on my planning period, 150 of them and stuffing them in bags. And my wife has made, and shout out to all the wives too. They do such a great job. My wife could give a shit less about football. She really could. She doesn't care, but she was at every game. She was making cookies, wrapping them in bag, doing all the stuff that a wife should do. So just shout out to everybody that's around high school football that takes the time to do stuff like that. It's awesome. And it means a lot to the kids because you may be the only person that cares in the day for that kid. You may be the only person that hands them a sandwich or whatever. So, Matt, I know you have fear of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches from a situation you heard about one time, but I think it's still pretty good other places.
Man. Yeah. That's just be careful of peanut allergies there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
You never know.
That's the biggest thing is candy, right? I'm good for walking through the cafeteria and tossing my guys candy that I've gotten, but I always try to do just straight chocolate or Jolly Ranchers and Blood Pops are always a hit. You have to worry about peanut allergies.
I love it, Coach. Well, Coach, I appreciate it, man. Listening to Power is awesome. It's always good as a defensive guy hearing it because I always need a good refresher on the things I need to be battling against, right? So
yeah, man.
I appreciate you taking the time and hopping on. Obviously, we're big admirers of you and your YouTube. So real quick, do you just want to talk about, shout out kind of your YouTube and your Twitter if anyone wants to follow you?
Yeah, man. So on YouTube at Coach Tatum, come by, man, watch the videos. I try to just present football in a simple way, right, for people that maybe want to learn. If anybody has a video idea, please hit me up because I want to talk about it. On Twitter, we post every day, every morning around 7:00, some type of a post, right? Whatever I think up, 30 minutes before I posted. So, and if you have any questions, man, I always hit you back. I don't know everything. I really don't. And today, we just talking a little power, right? It's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing that's going to, win you a state championship necessarily, but it's really just talking ball, right? And that's what, every coach, loves talking ball. So, maybe somebody picked up one little thing, right, and it could help you. But we try to do that through social media and try to help coaches, especially the offensive line coaches, because, to me, I'm biased, obviously, but, support local O-line coach. But we're the best. We coach the best kids on the team, and I believe in wholeheartely that we're the best coaches. So, at Coach Tatum 90 on Twitter, at Coach Tatum on YouTube, and I appreciate y'all, man, Kyle, Matt, for doing Border, and I watch y'all's podcast. I don't hit up people to get on their podcast and I don't watch them, right? That's not me, right? So I watch y'all's podcast, man, and I appreciate everything that y'all are doing. For real. I know it's not easy doing a podcast, so I appreciate y'all for having me a lot.
Yeah, we appreciate the kind words, and just much like you, man, we're just here to help high school coaches. Yeah. We're just two guys that aren't coaching right now that wish we were, but if we can give back to high school coaches and help them learn and get to do a little bit of football on our own, that's the best we can get right now. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all.
Matt, any closing words? You're muted.
He's doing lip sync, man.
There's some background noise going on right now, but power's God's play, and it was put here for a reason for people to use. And it's one of the greatest tools an offensive coach can have, and an offensive line coach's best friend. When in doubt, run power, and there's nothing better than being able to run it on a Friday night and seeing the other team over there just seemingly helpless as you just jam the ball down their throat. It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, man. My goal on a Friday night is have the D-line coach yelling more than anybody. That's it. That is it.
That's
right?
a good night. That's a
Yeah,
good
it
night.
is.
I love it. Well, for me, for Coach Dixon, Coach Tatum, the board drill signing off. We will see you next week.